The fifth onwards is Vamana, small structure. It's still not fully developed, it's a small structure. In a Vamana Avatara, what happens? He puts 3 legs and crosses, right? What is the 3 legs? Sattva, Raja, Tama Guna. First time he is learning how to cross those 3 worlds. It is not physically he is putting his leg on one world and then sweeping another world and another. No, that's a symbolic way of doing it. He is now in a position spiritually, he has developed, he has crossed the transcend of being ignorant to ability to cross Sattva, Raja, Tamo Gunas. That's why it is 3 worlds, 3 legs he is putting in. Then comes what? Parashurama. What is Parshu? Axe. Sanskrit, I think Hindi also is the same. Parshu means axe. Axe is Goddali. In Telugu language you say that is Goddali. Now, in Parashurama Avatara, that is very, very interesting. The Guru, who is his father, tells the son, who is the disciple, cut your mother's head. Right? He chops his mother's head. Will any son ever agree to cut his mother's head? He would rather cut that bloody father's head. Right? But what is the symbolic meaning here? If you want to spiritually evolve further, what is the biggest attachment one has? For whom? All of us have the biggest attachment for mother. Right? Symbolically, even that attachment has to go. Symbolically, that attachment has to go. Therefore, symbolically, the Guru is saying, now cut your mother's head. It's not physically cutting another, nothing happens there. No. It is symbolically, attachment is cut. I'll give you one formula. Each one of us should live with intense attachment. What is that? With intense attachment and instant detachment. What you have to do? You must have intense attachment. As soon as you cross the person, instant detachment. I'm not asking you to be hypocrite, no. Be attached to the child, be attached to your friend, be attached to everything. But not an attachment which causes you further thoughts. You do all that you can, but get out of that first. Get out of that first. Now, Parashurama Avatara is next stage of spiritual evolution, where the Guru says, detach. Now, as far as woman growth is concerned, well, the body now starts growing further and further. 7th month, the person is supposed to be knowing, male, female child. It starts thinking as per our scriptures. It does not know things are not, I do not know. As per our scriptures, it starts recollecting all the previous births and the experience it has had. Mind has evolved, it thinks about that, right? It feels bad. Oh God, once again I have come into this world. Punarapi Jananam. Punarapi Marane, Punarapi Jarne, Jatre Sayane, Shankara says in Bhajagovindam. Jatre is Jatragni, gastric juices, English word. Gastric comes from Jatara Agni. Right? So, mother eats all kinds of pulla, the, what do you call that? Sweet lime, something, sour, right? That's what the mother likes. You eat all sorts of things, but the child finds acidic atmosphere now. What it finds? Acidic atmosphere, heat, unbearable. It wants to break. It says, what karma? I have again come back into the stomach now. Right? It regrets at the 7th month of its birth. First, until then it is in tamasic. It has come to little rajasic. Then comes to sattva. Only a sattva person can start knowing, oh God, why have I come again? Right? This is what happens at the 7th month. 8th, 9th month, when the baby is out, the pain is so high, excruciating pain. Out of that, when you come out, you forget all your past. You forget all your past because suddenly you have some new face. You have a new attraction. There is a mother's face there. There is a father's face. It starts now getting attached to new forms. So the old form is gone. I'll come to prana when we talk about pranayama, and I'll put one session to later on about the process of birth and death later on. This much you understand. In terms of avatars, you find now that is the Rama avatara. From Parashurama, complete detachment has come. He is the Maryada Purusha. He is Rama now. What is the difference between Rama and Krishna? Rama does not know that he is God. Krishna knows that he is God. In the spiritual evolution, he has become a perfect man. He has become a Maryada Purusha. Purushottama he has become. All that. And yet, he does not realize that he is not God. He is only human form. So he is attached to his wife and all that. Attached to father, attached to wife, wants to be a dutiful son. All that is there. In Krishna has no such worries. He is not attached to anybody. It is gopis who dance to his tunes. He doesn't dance to gopis' tunes, mind you. All of us dance to the gopis' tunes. The gopi here is symbolic. Right? Gopi actually stands for Govinda and Priya. The person who is beloved of God. Those gopis are his beloved. He does not dance to their tunes, they dance to his tunes. Whereas all of us, male, female, doesn't matter. All of us dance to the tune of gopis here. Gopi here is attractions. Car is a gopi, building is a gopi, gold is a gopi, everything is a gopi. We dance to that tunes. That's why in Vishnu's avatara, you find Lakshmi sitting in his feet. We sit at the feet of Lakshmi. In Vishnu's case, Lakshmi sits at his feet, at his command. Whereas in our case, we sit at the feet of Lakshmi. That's the difference between Vishnu and us. Vishnu is not at all perturbed because there is a wave there. Life has all waves, ups, downs, right? And there is a snake there. The snake is coiled, but in his case it is inward looking. You see that? The snake is not like this, it is here. All his senses, the senses of the snake, all senses have become inward. In Krishna's case, all senses have become inward. Krishna is Vishnu and Vishnu is Krishna. They are one and the same, or Venkateswara, whatever name you want to call it. Right? Now, that is why, that is the 8th avatara. Now come to yoga. Here it is Ashtanga Yoga. Yama is over, Niyama is over, then comes Asana, Pranayama 4th, Pratyahara, Dhyana, Dharana and Samadhi. Samadhi is 8th. Samadhi is Krishna. You reach a Krishna stage in Samadhi. In a Dharana you are almost Rama. Right? I am not saying you are pig or fish, no, don't take the parallel too much there. But that's why after 8th avatara there is no avatara. Once a person becomes Krishna, once a person is already Siddhi Purusha, right? That's the end. We have created Buddha and Kalki and all that. Buddha and there is no. Pardon me? That's all. We have created that. Spiritual science will not accept. Because once you have become Krishna, there is no further question of you are becoming inferior to Krishna. You are already attained Siddhi. You already know that you are no longer a physical guy and you are part and parcel of the whole being. Right? That's why Vishwarupa Darshana Krishna shows. He knows his mother sees in his mouth. Right? All that is symbolic. Once that is over, there is no question of again becoming a Buddha. Buddha was attached. You cannot become a Siddhi and become attached. No, it doesn't happen. It's reversing. You don't go reverse. Man can only progress. You cannot become a pig again. You cannot become a monkey again. From monkey you become a man. Man, you become a perfect man. After that you become an attained man. After man there is nothing else. If there is after man something else, in a million years we should have something, some other avatara. Like fish has become something and let's say one animal becomes a tiger. All there has been evolution. That's what Darwin says. Finally you have a man. After man stage what? After Krishna nothing. That's why Krishna does not have descendants. Does not have descendants. What happens to Krishna? Everything is destroyed. Mahabharata war is over. He goes back to Dwarka. Right in front of him, everybody is fighting. The whole Yadukula is destroyed. And even he is destroyed and that's the end of it. Story is over. Whereas in Rama's case, Lavakusha are there. There is a descendant. Rama and Krishna, there is a lot of contrasting. I will send you, you can see, one of my books I have noted down. From different things I took that. Rama was born when? In the morning? Krishna was born when? In the night? Rama was born after a lot of tapas. Yajna, then Panaka, all kinds of things. With lot of desire, Rama is born. Krishna is born without anything. Oh God, the fellow, if he is going to be born, he is going to be killed. Devaki doesn't want. He is in the prison. He is born in the night. He is the 8th. So, without willingness he is born. Now, in the case of Ram, the first person he kills is what? Whom does he kill? Tataki. Tataki with a poisoned arrow. Krishna kills whom? Putna. Putna is who? He sucks the poison and kills. Rama leaves the poison and kills. Here he sucks the poison and kills. Right? Symbolically, spiritual man at the Rama stage, all our bad things are left out. The poison within us are left out. In Krishna's case, all the poison is absorbed in it. There is no poison there. Only payasam is there. Right? That is the thing. Next. You see a lot more contrast. Rama's brother is who? Lakshman. Krishna's brother? Balram. Now, Lakshman is younger. Balram is elder. One is younger, the other. Both are Adishesha's avatara, they say. Adishesha's avatara. Lakshman is also Adishesha's avatara and Balram is also Adishesha's avatara. But one is elder, the other is younger. Now, Rama kills whom further? In Vali Sugriva fight, he kills Vali. Right? Vali is who? Vali is the son of Indra. Sugriva is the son of Surya. Son of Surya is protected. Son of Indra is killed. In Ramayana case, who is Arjuna? Son of Indra. Son of Indra is protected. Karna is killed. Right? There are 23 different parallels. I don't want to spend too much time in it. From the point of view of this evolution, right, which you should have, you start realizing the growth of man in terms of, now if you go back to your chakras, once we are crossing this, there is no more physical there, right? No more physical. That's why in the chakras you see after 5th chakra there is nothing physical there. In your notes you would have read there, after 5th there is nothing physical. For the final there is no gland. You are beyond glands. Sahasrasra is beyond gland. Vishuddhi is beyond. There is thyroid here, but thyroid is not physical. Again, that is the reason for several diseases. I mentioned about the diseases, I will go to that later on. The major reason why you are asked to chant is because sound creates that. Half your thyroid problem can go out of sound. Now you don't want to chant Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, what is the, let's say Hanuman Chalisa. If you do all those things, all are structured so beautifully, automatically you will not get into it. Now, after about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, when you are dealing with all these things, you have gone away from physical? Have you gone away from physical or not? In the last 45 minutes, slowly we are coming back to physical now, right? We were slowly going away from physical. Did you experience or not? When I am saying physical, you are reminded you are coming back, right? Please, always go out from physical. You can go when you start dwelling on all these things. When you start dwelling on Ramayana, when you start dwelling on Mahabharata and all those things, you start going away. When you start dwelling on Krishna, you start going away, right? So, all these avatars are finally, if you come to Krishna, Krishna has no descendants, Rama has descendants. Right? There are in between so many things, let's not go too much into it. As far as yoga is concerned, is Ashtanga Yoga. As far as avatars are concerned, Krishna is the 8th avatara. He is born on Ashtami. Right? Krishna Ashtami we say. Right? Now somebody born on Ashtami we don't like. Now Ashtami Navami are not good stars. We want people to be born on Dasmi and even die on Ekadasi. Ekadasi, if you die and Dwadasi you have Dahanam, it's wonderful. Ekadasi Maranam, Dwadasi Dahanam we say. Supposed to be very good. But Krishna and Rama are born on Navami and Ashtami. Right? Not, so Ashtami Navami are not bad, but in our calendar Ashtami Navami are bad because we are physical. For spiritual, there is no Ashtami Navami difference. There is nothing there. Now, some of you, this Yam, Lam, Ram, Ra is the sound of fire. Fire, that's why he is Ravi. Ray, English word Ray comes from Ravi. Spark, Rava, Rava is spark. Ravi is Surya, right? Ra is the sound of fire. Surya or fire or Surya is fire is sun is nothing but a ball of fire. It's not simply a round light, no. You go near, you know, it's ball of fire. Out of that, you know, a lot of hydrogen, oxygen, all those things keep emanating out of that. Without that, you cannot live. So out of that fireball comes all these gases, right? Now, Ra is for fire. Lam, I think, is for water. So each one of those things are concerned that there are specific slokas available, mantras available. I already told you mantra means manana trayate iti mantraha. That which binds your mind is mantra, right? So if you do get a very good spiritual person, I do not know where they are, if he tells you certain mantras, these are called bija akshara, a root word. I think I told you about one of the mantra that we have is Sukla Ambaram Dharam. Sukla Ambaram Dharam, we always say this. Now south is quite common. This word, if you see, it's constructed, Sukla Lam is there, right? Bharadram Mam is there. Now, if you just watch this, Sukla Ambaram Dharam, Sashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vigna Upasantayet. This is the sloka. There are so many. Shuklam, actually Shu and Klam is two words. He is always considered one word. Bharataram is 4 words. 2, 4. Shuklam Baram. Ambaram Dharam actually. Ambaram means the whole sky is the dhara, is the dress. Right? Shuklam Baram Dharam. Shuklam Bharadaram Dharam. So 2, 4, 2. Right? Sashi Varnam. Sashi is 2. Varnam is Varna is 2, Sasivarnam, Chaturbhujam is 4. So it is constructed in such a way, it is 2, 4, 2, 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 4, 4, 2. Right? You watch, the entire shlokas are like that. And in that also, there is Lam and Ram and all that is brought in. That is why you are expected to pray to Vigneswara. Actually, that is for Vishnu. Though we say Shuklaparasana is for Vigneswara, there is no, we are only talking about Vishnu. Chaturbhujam is Vishnu. Vigneswara doesn't have Chaturbhujam. Right? 4. Chaturbhujam here means all the 4 directions are his shoulders. North, west, east, south is shoulder. Ambaram means the whole sky. He is wearing the whole sky. His shoulders are north, south, east, west. That's the symbolic, it's a poetic way of explaining. But the point here is, each one of the slokas, each one of the mantras, each one, even Hanuman Chalisa, Vishnu Sahasranama, all that is completely built around these sounds that you have. They are not meaningless sounds. They have been constructed so beautifully that you just chant, your health is good. That's the beauty. The guy who died, I told you about Tata MD, no? Carl Sill or somebody. Yeah, Carl Sill or Carl Sill. Yeah. The guy who died, it appears they have been having quarrels. They went to a psychiatrist. This is where we differ from the West. Psychiatrist is a guy who keeps on screwing your mind. He will take you to the situation where you have, when did it happen, how did it happen, why did it happen. In our case, we don't ask all these things. He said, forget about it, go to the temple 10 times. Right? Go to 10 times, come back. By the time you go to 10 times, you are already tired, you forget about all the issues, sleep. We now have, after we get up, a fresh look at the situation and say, that's not a minor, that's a minor thing, why bother about it? But whereas in psychiatry, they go on screwing it. It appears the psychiatrist was such a fool, he asked the wife, you write all you think about your husband. She said, this fellow is a cheat, this fellow is a fool, this fellow is all kinds of things, whatever was her feeling, she put all that in 10 pages or 12 pages. And the psychiatrist gave that to this guy. He read it, he said, oh God, my wife is thinking so bad about me, I would rather die. Psychiatrists create so much chaos in the West. In fact, almost half the population, they go to psychiatrists there. We have solved the problem through mantras, through asanas, through temple worship, through yajna. We don't go to psychiatrists. Because here what happens is, you are asked to go to Rameshwaram and then you are asked to go to Kasi, you go up and you go on down and see, people are saving everywhere. What's the big deal? Your prejudices go. When you, huge temple, in the old temple there are 7 prakaras compared to the 7 chakras. The 7 has spiritual significance again. So you go around 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Or even if that means prakaras are not there, you do 10 times, or you roll over the whole body, all kinds of things. But when you do all that, what really happens is you forget the situation. You are able to have fresh perspective. Not only you have activated your chakras, but you start having a fresh perspective. Why do you have it? Because you have done all that in tune with God. Bhakti is also there. The West talks about going into the mind. The essential difference between India and the rest is, here we treat ourselves as soul. Body is incidental. They consider everything as body. Therefore, they think there is a mind, and then you go on screwing. Here we are not screwing this mind. We are not going back to thought. We are getting away from thought. In psychiatry, you go into the thought. The poor lady, she wrote all bad things about him. I am sure she will write all useless fellows, rogue, rascal, all that. Right? And then give it to him. He will say, oh God, my wife thinks so bad about me. Exactly what happened. 10-page sheet the psychiatrist gave him, and he thought, what is this lady with whom I have been living so long? She thinks so bad about me, I would rather die, and he died. Beautiful system that we have. You don't have to do all that. Right? Death is not an end. In our case, mind you, in their case, they have only one life. You are a sinner, you go back into God. Right? For us, life is a flow, ebb and flow. It's continuously, several janmas. Christianity doesn't believe about so many janmas. No. There is no birth, life. Now West has started understanding, they have also accepted. The Old Testament talks about all these things. The New Testament does not talk about. When the bishops start ruling, they did not want to have all these things. They wanted to have the concept of sin, and you go to the priest and talk about it in his ears. Right? He starts finding out, you commit one more sin with me, they said. Right? So that society is full of sin. Man is not sin. Man is in a progressive towards God. We are in the Ashtanga. We are from Yama, Niyama. We start. All right, I am ready to do asana. Then I will do pranayama. If not in this birth, next birth, then I will start thinking about, let's say, pratyahara. Pratyahara, I already told you, is about opposite food, opposite thought. If I think of bad, let me think of good also. And finally, we end up in samadhi. Right? Ours is a gradual evolution where each one of us are guaranteed to be samadhi, guaranteed to be God, mind you. I don't have to depend somebody to take me. No. I have to depend on myself. There is no priest can do all that thing for me. No external agent can do all these things for me. No guru can do this. Only I can do for myself. The beauty about Hindu religion again, you'll see, and I'm sorry I've taken a lot more time than I should have taken. In Christianity, I'm not trying to decry Christianity, I'm just trying to analyze. The Shishyas of Jesus are how many? Are who? Fishermen. 13 fishermen. Right? In Hindu terminology, the Shishya is as good as Guru. Ram was the Shishya of Vasishta and Vikramarka. And, right, Dasratha is the Shishya of, again, Vasishta. Right? Each one, the Shankara has 4 Shishyas. Each one is good. Padmapada is an extraordinary person. Sarveswara is an extraordinary person. In our tradition, the Guru and Shishya parampara that we have, each is equally enlightened. And when they pray, they say, Astoma Jyotirgamaya. Let us together pray and get light. They are not saying, you give light to me, Guru. No. Right? Together they are praying, let both of us have light. Let both of us not have difference of opinion. They pray to a third person. The teacher doesn't say, I'll teach you, you don't have. No. This is, the difference is that. With this, what happened was, whatever that has come to us, it has come to us beautifully. Whereas, the moment I talk about the Old Testament, New Testament, difference there was, there is a break. What these 13 fishermen could have understood. Ramakrishna Paramahansa's Shishya was Abhedananda and Vivekananda, equally great guys. And that parampara continues even today, even today. Right? Whereas, there is a huge distortion. First, Jesus' understanding itself was a distortion. We are born sinner. Here in our cases, I told you in 7th month, we are again saying, oh God, again I am born into this. I have desire, therefore I am born. I don't want to born, I will be suffer. That is what we have said. But we also said, you go on evolving. In this, you have certain experiences that vasanas have to go. Again, you become a person, ultimately you become perfect. Whereas there is no, you have to surrender to Jesus. That's the only way of salvation. So sin was considered, you are born as sinner. I am not born as a sinner. I am born with desire. To have desire is not a sin. There, to have desire is a sin. Therefore, they punished themselves. You know, Christian, the Shaya practice of whipping your body, you know, it came from Christianity. You see some of the movies. I don't remember the one of the movie. Da Vinci Code. The guy punishes himself. It started there. We never have in our Hindu terminology anybody punishing himself with a whip. No. He is a Rakshasa, he has done bad, but God gave, and he also became a saint. Even Ravana goes to heaven much faster than others. And finally, in Ramayana, Ram tells Lakshman, Ravana is going to die, go and learn from him now. What does he say? Go learn now something from him before he dies. And he goes into heaven. So, we don't have any Rakshasa, Raga plus Akanksha. That is Raksha. Raga is desire, Akanksha is oriented. Right? Always oriented toward desire. The person who is oriented toward desire is Rakshasa. That's why all of us are Rakshasas. We have 10 heads. Ravana has 10 heads. What is the 10 head? No. All these Shat Vargas, you know, Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsalya, all that 6 plus Chit, Mahansa, Ahankara, Buddhi, 4. So, you go on removing one with an arrow, another comes. One desire is another comes. One desire is removed. We are the Ravanas. Ravana is not somebody else. Ravana is not someone else. Ravana is the Rakshasa within us. That is Rajogunam in us. The tamas in us is Kumbhakarna. That's why 6 months he eats and 6 months he sleeps. We are also doing the same thing. 8 hours we are bothered about eating, another 8 hours we are sleeping. Right? There is a tamas in it. So Kumbhakarna is tamasa. Vibhishana is the sattva quality. Right? So this session I have spent a lot more time on this because to tell you the essential point that each one of us are energy centers. But we are manifested as a matter. But all matter is, science also agrees, all matter is nothing but condensed energy. All energy is released matter. You burn coal, you have the energy. Right? So, today's Sahara is Sagara actually. Sagara becomes Sahara. Right? Why do you have oil wealth there? Because once upon a time that was a huge forest. There are so many trees, millions of years back. All the trees got buried. In a pralaya, all that water came up, this got buried, they got condensed, they become coal, further condensed over a million of years, it becomes liquid. Our Dwarka also went along with that. That's why we don't have Krishna's Dwarka now. Krishna's Dwarka is the west coast, you know, on the Gujarat border, along with the Oman and the other side up to Saudi Arabia. Saudi. Pardon me? Possible. I do not know. Possible. People say you can see stones there in Rameshwaram also. See, all this is history. The beauty about it is, if I ask Manasi, when was Indira Gandhi killed? Can she say that? Somebody she heard about Indira Gandhi. In our lifetime, I know about Indira Gandhi as a Prime Minister. She is some Nehru, some fellow, some daughter. You ask her about Ramayana, she straight away says, when Rama met Sita first, Sita saw from a corner. Right? All that she knows. Some thousands of years back, whatever has happened, right? What Kaikeyi did, we remember. But what was Panipat War, we do not know. What is Indira Gandhi, we do not know. Who is Rajiv Gandhi, we do not know. The beauty about Indian system is, we have taken history, took the message out of that history, made it into mythology. and conveyed that even today, which has essence meaning even today. Even now we draw a meaning. When Hanumanji crosses ocean, what happens? First comes Mayanka mountain. Mayanka mountain is golden top. On a golden top, what does Hanumanji do? He is not crossing over. He can put one smash and break it and go, or he can cross over and go. No, he stays there for a moment and says, I will come back later. Our attitude towards money should be that. That's the message. There is a mythology which was perhaps some thousands of years back. Out of that mythology, we have an answer now. We have a lesson for our life, what we should do. Then it goes to Surasa. Surasa is a huge fish. Hanumanji goes inside and comes out like a small fly. Goes on. What is this? Surasa. Rasa is taste. Taste for Allah, taste for man, taste for woman, taste for good things in life, taste for car. All that is taste. True Surasa. What have we to do? We cannot get out of it. We just touch and go. We enjoy that, but don't. Instant attachment, instant detachment. See that he doesn't kill. Then he crosses over. Then comes Chaya Devi, the fourth. That is our own shadow. Ego comes as shadow. Ego you have to kill. Kill means symbolically you get rid of it. Like Parashurama removed. That is symbolic. Then you can go and see goddess Sita there. If you want to go and see goddess, if you want goddess Sita, seeing goddess Sita in this context means knowing, realization. You go with what? With Rama mantra. You keep on chanting Ram. With the help of Ram, you go and see Shakti. Right? You cross the ocean of samsara. Samsara is the ocean. Symbolically, in Hindu terminology, we describe life as a samsara, it's a saga. Right? So, dwell yourself in all these thoughts. Go back, read Mahabharata, read Ramayana. There is so much to learn, so much I tell you. I never went to temple. Even today, I am not that much of a temple goer. When I was around 25, 26, I got, after my engineering, a couple of years experience, I got a scholarship to go to Germany. I was lucky enough to be one senator from south. From each part of the country, they chose one, east, west, north and all that. So I had to go to Germany, do my masters and further specialization and all that. And I thought those fellows may ask something about Ramayana, Mahabharata. I should not be a fool if somebody asks. Because they know that we are a monkey country, we have a lot of elephants on the road and all that. Along with that, they also know about it. So I started reading. When I started reading only, I realized there is so much there. I was a fool to have ignored all that. You start reading afresh, you will see in the light of this, Ramayana gives you so much. Ahalya Devi gives you so much. Ahalya is not simply a rock. Hala is what? Plough, no? Right? That which is ploughed. Softened mind, that is Ahalya. We are the Ahalyas. If Rama's foot falls on us, we will become an. So, whether you Panchavati is nothing but Panchabhuta, this Deha, this is Panchavati. In this, I told you there is Ram, there is Lakshman, there is Sita. So, look back, you will see the whole thing. Until you become a spiritual personality in your thoughts, your physical will not be good. I am coming back to that. So, Yogasanas will help you, but along with Yogasana, you need to do that. Now, from now onwards, when you are going to Pranayama, Pratyahara, we are going into those aspects of it. Yama, Niyama are mundane requirements, right? Then comes Asana Pranayama, which is, Asana is the third physical. Pranayama, we are handling the subtle. I will go into Pranayama a little later. And afterwards, the next four, they are all non-mind activity, non-body activity, right? So, we have to prepare ourselves to go to yoga takes you from body to non-body. That's why I called initially my book as Beyond Mind. Actually, the publisher wanted to keep it as wisdom and all that. We are going beyond mind. Instead of getting trapped by mind, we are trying to go beyond mind. In Telugu we say, Manasuto kadu manasune grahinchedi. Not with the help of mind, but getting out of mind. Always we are trying to think that with the help of mind you have to do. No. You cross mind you will be able to do. Cross mind you get all the siddhis. Not with the mind you will not be able to get, because mind is deficient. Mind is Maya, there is no other Maya. Thank you very much. Next time we'll see.